As I was started to think about this initial image of this middle-class couple stuck in a home, I became very excited because I started to see it as a platform for a very familiar story for grief. This could be a very different platform for it. Because I could have very easily stuck this couple in a suburban environment, losing their son and being totally destroyed by grief, isolating themselves from their community. But that would be like a lot of other films that we've seen already. So for me it felt a lot more exciting to put them in a hole in the middle of France somewhere or wherever and have it play out there. However civilized we think we've become, actually the animal inside us is never far away. If I think where are the big and wild forests in Europe, I was thinking Eastern Europe for sure. You have these really extensive forests there, and I felt, well, okay, that's the most credible. So for a long time we were sort of set to go there. But then, because of all the difficulties of getting the film financed, it became a co-production. You kind of have to go where the money comes from. So the Midi-Pyrénées became a possible region that might want to be interested in co-financing the film. And so I considered the option, and actually the more I started thinking about it, the more I got excited about it, because it sort of opened up a whole new dimension to the film, which I never thought about actually. The fact that the wilderness is never far away, almost the idea of having a middle-class couple living wild in a car park of your local IKEA or something. I really liked that idea, and it sort of started to make the Eastern European option look quite boring and sort of predictable.
It's an amazing story. I think it's quite an audacious story. And the character really appeals to me because a lot of what's going on is internal. He's not a demonstrative person. He's on his own a lot, so he's got no one to be demonstrative with. Although he's in extremis, he's having to keep things under control. He's having to be very responsible, but he is under enormous pressure, and that in the end tells on him.
It was interesting to play someone who at first actually looks quite together, and actually they both do, and they both, it almost looks like this is kind of a nice way to live. Things look okay, but the kind of cracks start to appear, and you start to see things like when he tries to get her out, like how traumatised she is and how she can't cope without someone. Her perimeters of her life are tiny. And I just find it really interesting to play a character like that and explore kind of different emotions and things like that.
Like if I could just go to the stand line and you have a leg, I could just, and then it could start.
Or you could try on your own, and he's just looking, and you sort of try to get her out, and then she drags in, and then you ask his help. Like that. I'm not here. I will look in. I'm not sure when you're here. Yeah, something like that. That's possible.
You often find this with homeless people. They will say, it can really happen to anyone. You can't believe how quickly it can happen to you. One problem leads to another, and soon you're out of control. And that's what's happened to these people. They've very, very quickly gone right to the bottom.
In a way, the hole that was in the first place some kind of safe haven, a place where they could sort of take stock after the traumatic event of their son dying, is actually more of a prison. It becomes more symbolic of the entrapment of their grief